Welcome to Z's and Threes.
For three for the win. Yes!
And if there is one thing that we have learned in this season, it is that there is no such thing as job security in this NBA. Mike Brown, Luka Doncic, De'Aaron Fox, Anthony Davis, Taylor Jenkins, and now add former Denver Nuggets head coach Michael Malone and their GM Calvin Booth to the list. All of these names experience varying levels of success at their respective destinations, only to find themselves no longer part of their future plans. Why? Well, that's what we're here at Z's and Threes for, to try to figure it all out. It's almost as complicated as the West seeding race. I gave you the games to watch across the remainder of this week. Today, we break down what we learned on Tuesday night. Another wild one in the NBA. If you like the show, please do like and subscribe. We are almost there. Help us get to 100 subscribers before the end of the regular season. Let's catch you up on a crazy day in the NBA. Group chat games of the night. Yes, two. The games that I told you what to watch. The two focused games, both in the West. In the seeding race implications, let's start with the second of a two-parter, the LA Lakers against the Oklahoma City Thunder. Remaining in OKC for, oddly enough, a three-game set between the two teams. We need to address scheduling in the NBA, get more balanced scheduling. Why do you play some teams 4 times division-wise, some teams 3? It just doesn't make sense at this point. But let's focus on the games. After the Lakers held Oklahoma City under 100 points and hitting a season-high 22 threes in their 126-99 victory Sunday, the Lakers would try to take the third game to take the season series. How would the Thunder respond? Could the Lakers double up, send a clear message prior to the playoffs that they are for real? Thunder, will they build a 12-point lead? But a Lakers 26-17 third quarter had it at a 1-point game hitting the fourth. And here is where the Thunder looked like the West leading, division leading, NBA leading Oklahoma City Thunder. A 27-8 run. They outscored the Lakers in the fourth quarter, 39-22. They forced 19 Laker turnovers in the game, leading to 29 points. A 21-point second half for Gilgeous-Alexander, part of his 42 points, 6 rebounds, 6 assists effort in a 136-120 victory. Get some help from his running mate, Jalen Williams, a.k.a. J-Dub, who chips in 26. Luka saw the locker room early, recipient of his second technical foul. Ended his 23-point night. He was chirping at, he said, the fans. Refs thought it was them, so Luka sent off. The Thunder outscored the Lakers 29-12 after Luka's ejection. The Lakers' loss takes them out of contention for the second seed. Remember, they have that game remaining against the Houston Rockets. They are the benefactors. We will get to that when we break down standings. That was the first one with major implications. The second one was happening in Milwaukee. The Bucks hosting the Timberwolves, and boy, was this crazy. The Wolves of this log-jammed group, 3 through 8, their 4 games left, were front-loaded with their most challenging. This game at Milwaukee and then hosting Memphis. They have the easiest path remaining of the 3 through 8 teams, being that they close against the Brooklyn Nets and the Utah Jazz. Well, could they get through tonight? The Bucks trying to stay ahead of the Pistons, game and a half in the 5-6 East standings, getting Bobby Portis back from his substance suspension. The Wolves' task would be to slow down Giannis Antetokounmpo, just named Eastern Conference Player of the Week, averaged 36 points, 12 rebounds, 13 assists across his team's 4-game win streak last week. Wolves, hot too though, winners of their last 5. Started out good for them, so good in fact that they built a 24-point advantage before. That's every wild lead swing alert you could get, because the Bucks go on a 23-0 run. That is so wild, to make it a 1-point game with under 5 minutes left. 3 minutes, 16 seconds in regulation. Things get a little more crazy. An altercation between Rudy Gobert and Kevin Porter Jr. leads to double technicals offsetting, but also a technical on Gary Trent Jr. of the Milwaukee Bucks, gives Minnesota a free throw and the ball, but it would not stop the Bucks' momentum. A 34-3 run, a 40-13 fourth quarter earns the Bucks a 110-103 come from behind win. Another monster effort from Giannis. 23 points on 9 of 15 shooting, 13 rebounds, 10 assists. And how about the game from Kevin Porter Jr.? 21 points, 6 of 9 shooting, 9 of 9 from the free throw line. 10 of those 21 came in the fourth quarter. It pushes the Bucks win streak to 5. They are 2 games ahead of the trailing Pistons. Remember, those two teams finished the regular season with 2 games against one another. So still an opportunity for the Pistons to swap spots. But a massive squandered opportunity for the Wolves with their huge 24-point lead. They get reverse uno'd from what they did last year in the playoffs. Biggest fourth quarter comeback since at least 1996-97. It's at least because that is when the NBA began tracking play-by-play data. So this one of the biggest fourth quarter comebacks probably in NBA history, as the Bucks come from 24 down to deal the Wolves a huge loss. Get to the remaining 8 games of the 10-game slate, and we stay in the West race. Memphis Grizzlies at the Charlotte Hornets. Grizzlies needing to handle their business tonight with a tough closing road ahead. They have to play the Minnesota Timberwolves and the Denver Nuggets. Those teams all in that same comp set, 3 through 8, fighting for those guaranteed 3 through 6 positions. Hornets, good enough team to stack a win against. 28 points from Ja Morant, 17 points, 19 rebounds from Zach Edey in a 124-100 victory. Maybe firing your head coach can work. Remains to be seen. Minnesota game is Thursday night. That's national on TNT in Memphis. And then Friday night at Denver. Those 2 games for Memphis will determine their playoff or play-in fate. Incredibly scary moment in this game. Grizzlies stellar rookie Jalen Wells had to be taken off in a stretcher after landing on his head after being undercut inadvertently. No ill intent from Hornets KJ Simpson. Whilst Wells was in the air, he was down for 8 minutes after hitting his head. He was lifted onto a stretcher, taken off. The latest report was that he was awake, alert, moving his extremities, although he did sustain a broken wrist. His father, Fred Wells, said that Jalen asked what the score of the game was, so was in good spirits. Hopefully gets well quickly. The fall was very scary, so good to hear that he's doing better. Let's talk the Eastern Conference because there was some good games and there was the East top seed locking their spot in. That would be the Cleveland Cavaliers. It seemed like just a moment of time, but Boston could still catch them. The Cavs were hosting the Chicago Bulls. Potential 1-8 first round matchup, and Cavs looked every bit the part. It was a back and forth first quarter till Cleveland ran them out the gym. 43-24 second quarter lead grew to 27. It finished at 135-113. 28 from Darius Garland, who had linked up with Dom Kennedy the other day. That was an interesting link up. Never thought. Darius Garland, Dom Kennedy. Nice. 21, 12, and 7 from Evan Mobley. I saw it on Dom Kennedy's Instagram. I was like, is that Darius Garland? So he was Dom Kennedy in Cleveland performing. He's on tour if you're a Dom fan. 63 points from the Cleveland Cavaliers bench. Kobe White sat this one out for Chicago, and as mentioned, Cavs securing the top seed in the Eastern Conference. Boston still mathematically could have caught them had Cleveland lost out, and the Celtics were in New York in the Garden to take on the Knicks. Good game delivered between these two. It was a 1-point Knicks lead with under 60 seconds left in regulation. It went to 3 after Mikal Bridges made a free throw pull-up jumper. Celtics come back, and Jason Tatum draws a shooting foul called on Karl Anthony Towns. The bad news for Knicks fans, it was on a 3-point attempt. Tatum goes to the line, makes the first, makes the second, back heels the third. 35.8 left. The Knicks lead at 1. So shot clock's not off, but Josh Hart makes a driving layup that puts the lead at 3. 11.9 left. Celtics choose to go no timeout. They had 2 remaining. Tatum working the dribble, step back 3, tie ball game. 2.9 left. Knicks ball. Chance to win. Call a timeout. Advances the ball. Action gets the ball to Hart on the inbound. Looks like he was maybe supposed to give it off. Doesn't. Settles for a pull-up himself. 3 for the win. No good. Overtime it is. 13.4 left in overtime. The Celtics are up 3 in the period. The Knicks inbounding, and they turn it over off the pass. Celtics seal it at the free throw line. Jalen Brunson made a 3 to make it aesthetically look a little closer, but 119-117, Boston wins the overtime contest. Team high, tied for a game high, 34 from Kristaps Porzingis. 32, 7, and 5 from Jason Tatum, including that huge 3 to send it to overtime. This a possible second round preview if both teams were to get through. Remember, 2 plays the 3 in the second round if it's chalk. More bad news for the Knicks as the Celtics sweep the season series 4-0. What to make of the Knicks? Can the Knicks really be a factor come playoff time? Handle your business game. Pacers, remember, they were in the Eastern Conference Finals last year because they beat the aforementioned New York Knicks. And they are heading into the playoffs, the Pacers, playing some of their best ball. Winners of their last 4 in a row, 10 of their last 12. They still have an outside shot at the 3 with the Knicks loss. And they would improve that with a 104-98 win over the vaunted Washington Wizards. 24-10 for Pascal Siakam back on the court. They are 2 games back of the Knicks. Their final 3 games, the Pacers, Cleveland, Orlando, and at Cleveland. The Knicks, though, have the season series 2-1, where they two end up tied. The Warriors, 50 wins still in play for Golden State. They would get one more closer tonight with a resounding whooping. 133-95 win at the listless Phoenix Suns. What an abomination of a season. The lead was 41 at its largest for the Warriors. They empty their bench. They score 66 from the backups, 25 from Steph Curry, 22 from Brandon, continuing to get in his bag. Podziemski, he was untouchable, remember, for the Warriors come trade deadline, and validating that. He's proving to be quite the stellar second banana scoring-wise for Steph Curry lately. Abysmal night, abysmal season for the Suns. Such a shame, given how dope the Valley Edition uniforms are that they have been rocking. The Warriors have San Antonio on Wednesday, at Portland Friday, and then the massive regular season finale against the Clippers. That one, we will know what the implications are as we evolve across the course of the week. Clippers were in action, so needing to get a win as they still can get to the 50-win mark. And they notched off their 47th as well with their 5th win in a row. 8-2 over their last 10. It was 122-117 for the Spurs. Game was never for the, Clippers over the Spurs. Game was never really that close late. 18-point LA lead with 4 minutes left. 25 points from Norman the Air Fryer Powell. Remember how hot he started the season? Yeah, he's still there. He's still doing his thing. Clippers, what to make of them? They could push their way up in the standings. They could be hosting a playoff series as the 4 seed. 24 points, 20 rebounds from Ivica Zubac that I'm sure you didn't know because I didn't. I had premonitions, so I had to look it up. The NBA's leader in total rebounds on the season. Clippers welcome Houston on Wednesday, who the Rockets surely at 52 wins will be resting their players, doing the LA two-step Clippers and Lakers, but neither of those games any implications for Houston, who is locked into the 2 and will be starting the playoffs at home. What a turnaround for the Houston Rockets from having won 41 games last year. Play-in posse, 2 games to get to, one of them in the play-in posse. That is the Atlanta Hawks and the Orlando Magic. Teams fighting for who could host the 7-8 matchup. The Bulls lost, making that look a step closer. Magic in the 7, the Hawks in the 8. They would stay that way. Orlando winning 119-112. 33-10-4 for Paolo Banchero. Best a 30-14 rebound effort from Onyeka Okongwu. Shoutouts. Help me win the fantasy title. Yes, sir. 22-6-6 from Franz Wagner. Better than Trae Young's. 28 points, 10 assists. Double. The Magic, 7-3 over their last 10. They are 2 games clear of the Hawks in that 7-8. The final 3 against Boston, at Indy, and at Atlanta. How about that? You have to finish your regular season against one another to then play a play-in game against one another the following week. Lottery land, Pels, Nets win 119-114. And how about this? A player that everybody's been talking about, Reese Beekman. He plays 31 minutes for guess which team? Yes, the Nets. And he did not score a point. 31 minutes. He did have 10 assists, 4 rebounds, and 3 steals, along with 3 personal fouls. Shout out Reese Beekman. So here's what you've all been waiting for. How does this affect the standings race? Well, as mentioned, the Rockets, the biggest benefactors of the outcomes tonight. The loss for the Lakers, it has the Rockets firmly in permanent marker, the 2 seed. Lakers, though, still control their fate in the 3. They are a full game ahead of the trailing pack of the Clippers, the Nuggets, the Warriors, and the Grizzlies. The Lakers have the season series over the Clippers, Warriors, and Grizzlies. And they split the season series with Denver 2-2. But if the Lakers were to win their division, which they are currently in the driver's seat to do such, they would have the tie break by winning the division over Denver. Really, it's the only thing that you can benefit from winning your division anymore in the NBA. Yeah, whatever. Stupid, but is what it is. Houston sitting their players, as mentioned, for that game against the Lakers. And Portland out of the mix. That is the team that the Lakers end the regular season against. Wednesday's game against Luka Doncic in Dallas. AD against the Lakers becomes the crux for where the Lakers will end up. The 3 is looking most likely. But if the Lakers were to lose that game Wednesday night, things could get interesting. Obviously, any slip-ups to either Houston, who could be resting, and Portland, still something to play for, well, that could affect the Lakers as well, but they control their fate. The logjam after that is where things get insanely complicated, but they will settle themselves. I'll tell you why. Clippers, Nuggets, Warriors, Grizzlies is how it stands currently. All of them are at 47 and 32, none of which are division leaders. So the tiebreak goes to winning percentage amongst the tied teams. So you take all the games that you've played against the other 3, whoever has the best winning percentage, that will be the tiebreak. But that should not matter come Sunday when the season is over, because the Nuggets play the Grizzlies on Thursday and the Clippers host the Warriors to end the season on Sunday. So that should settle itself with just potentially 2 teams tied, and hopefully we can then go to the head-to-head, serving as the tiebreaker in that scenario. But remember, if there's multiple teams, well, 3 or more teams with the same record, the tiebreaker goes to the win percentage amongst the tied teams in those games only. The Wolves, they were the biggest loser of the night. They now cannot reach 50 wins. All of those other teams could, even though there's head-to-heads. They cannot all reach 50, but some of them can. Well, 2 of them can. The Wolves, they cannot. Their best finish would be 49 and 33. Thursday night at Memphis will either be a play out of the play-in, or it will determine who will host that play-in game between the Wolves and the Grizzlies. So that is going to be the one to watch. Ja Morant, Memphis Grizzlies, Anthony Edwards, the Minnesota Timberwolves. That one will be spicy. The Suns lost. It clinched a play-in spot, either 9 or 10 for the Kings. Phoenix still could catch Dallas, but I think it's over in the Valley. So that is how the standings break down. As mentioned, the Cavs clinched the overall 1 seed in the Eastern Conference. A win for the Bucks gives them some distance, 2 games over the Pistons in the East, but nobody's looking at the East. We know what the playoff seedings are going to be. Most likely, it is the West where all the intrigues still lie, and we have big games coming up Wednesday night. Heavy Pour, leading scorer of the night, presented by Portland Water. Check them out at drinkpdxwater.com. Yet again, Gilgeous-Alexander. He has been pouring up a lot of that crisp, refreshing water from the Pacific Northwest on his way to a scoring title this season. Dunk of the night, Trace Jackson Davis. He went all over the head of Mason Plumlee, and adding insult to injury, it was in blowout time. It was a mean jam. Performance of the night, presented by Contract Year. Play in your contract year. I'm going to give it to Kevin Porter Jr. Damian Lillard out. Bucks trying to solidify themselves. Are they for real? Can they make noise in the East given the play of Giannis Antetokounmpo? Well, Kevin Porter Jr. goes the distance, playing a full 12 minutes in the fourth quarter, scores 12 points. I said 10 earlier. He scored 12 to complement Giannis's 13 points in that frame alone in their 24-point comeback win. The Bucks might or might not get Dame back, so a huge effort from Kevin Porter Jr. to help his team secure the dub. Hey, shout out to everybody, new subscribers to Z's and Threes. We see y'all. This is how we get down all these scores, standings, news, and notes. No news today because I dropped the news item. Everybody knows that Denver fired their head coach. If you want my take, go check out the short I did on why Denver let go of Michael Malone. One of the most anticipated regular season games Wednesday night in NBA history. Luka Doncic making his return to Dallas to take on Anthony Davis and the Mavs. And the aforementioned Nuggets, they will be in Sacramento to take on the Kings. Both teams dismissing their coaches this year. Do the Nuggets get the bump that the Kings got? David Adelman, the interim head coach, making his debut against the team that his father, Rick, had his longest NBA tenure against. If you miss anything, Z's and Threes, we always got you. We're almost to 100. Help us get there. Like, subscribe, share with a friend. We'll see you tomorrow. Peace.